What's up, guys? How's Requiem here? Welcome to one of my first local vlogs back on the channel. It's been a minute since I've been on the channel. But we're gonna play locals today. Kind of a new deck, but not really. I have the Silver Cord cards now, so I can actually play Silver Cord Yummy for once. I had most of the cards for like the last month, but just one card, the Dracotail, just wouldn't come in the mail for some reason. So yeah, we're gonna play that today. Remember, if you guys remember last video, when I went to regionals, and I sort of had to recap it for you guys, but I think I got everything that really happened. Long story short, I went 2-4, a few misplays, and like one-ish, and like 1.5 bricks, and like 2 misplays ish. Definitely could have improved on that record. And I showed you guys the deck profile in the last video. But now we'll get to the deck profile of the Yummy Sulfur Cord deck, and I'll show you guys what I swapped out. Alright guys, so here is the new and improved Sulfur Cord Yummy deck list. So with the Sulfur Cord version, we do add 7 starters to the deck. So we were able to cut down on a few things, like the Sky Striker package, specifically because we don't need the Kagari anymore. And this package is a little bit, it still is a draw, but it's a little bit stronger. Also, we cut down on one of each name because we already have some more level 1 starters in the deck. And aside from that, we also did wind up taking out the Obedience School because we now contain a good number of monsters that are not beast monsters. So Obedience School is like a little bit worse in this version because you cannot access all of your Sulfur Cord monsters while you're under Obedience School. So Obedience School has to be cut out for this version, as well as the Sky Striker cards. You don't need these anymore. So adding 7 starters, taking out 7 like starters, pretty good. And that's all that was changed for the Yummy portion of the deck. As for the Sulfur Cord cards that we put in, we did wind up putting in 3 copies of Promoa that searches any Sulfur Cord card, so you can search the spell card with this. And the spell card that you're searching with this is going to be the Happiness, which is the super broken card that I just showed you guys, that I'm going to show you guys the combo for, of how to bridge the 2 engines together. And you have your 1-2 tail, which searches the Sulfur Cord monsters, and your Sulfigia, which is your extender from hand, while you control no monsters or only Sulfur Cords. So, and there are some interesting things you can do with this. That is the simple 8-card engine that, and it's 7 starters and 1, like, extender / brick. It doesn't do anything by itself, but it's just for the combo. Non-engine has basically stayed the same, with all of the cards necessary to beat the Dracotail trap cards. However, I cut the Droll down to 2, and I could put in 2 Nibiru's, just to see what it does. I don't think it's, like, too crazy this format, but I just wanted to see if it'll do anything, because I got Nibiru a bunch during the original, and I think it might be pretty good into the mirror. I know Dracotail rarely summons 5 times, so probably worse against these 2, or probably these 4, probably worse against Dracotail. But that just makes starting a little bit easier against Dracotail. But these are decently good against the mirror, as well as Mitsurugi piles and stuff. That's those 4. And then still the 5 most armies, the Fualos and Perulia. I just don't have the 3rd Perulia yet. When I do that, I'll probably take out like a Nibiru for it or something. And then we've cut the talents, so we have only these left. And then the 3 imperms. What I did end up cutting was the Prosperity talents and the 3rd copy of Droll. Just for the engine, I figured talents was really bad into Dracotail because they rarely activate monster effect other than like 5 mana and hand traps. And usually if they have hand traps, they'll have to use them as material anyway. So if they don't have hand traps with 5 mana and names in hand, they can't really hand trap you during your turn that much. The Prosperity, again, it just makes you lose to Droll unnecessarily. So while it is a good card, with the way the deck is built, you're going to be drawing your starters anyway in your opening hand, so you don't really need Prosperity almost ever. And your extra deck is so tight that you really don't want to be banishing cards from it, like, almost ever. And obviously the Droll, I just cut 1 Droll, because I felt like it was a little bit worse into my locals, since I've adjusted the deck for coming back from regionals. So looking at the extra deck, we have a few more changes here. We actually have only 2 Snatchy now, because we needed some more room, and Snatchy is not as prevalent in this version. Well, it still is, but you can loop 2 of them just fine. And of course, we still have the Spider, Almirage, and Link Kuriboh for the Link ones. And then for Link 2, we actually have the Beyond the Pendulum in here for the combo. And I will show you guys how the combo works. But you do need to Beyond the Pendulum in here. And of course, we have the Masquerena to go on the end board with the SP Little Knight. And we also have the Grand Soulful Coolia here, which is again part of the combo. It's an Omnigate. It's also protection for your pendulums in its 3 zones, which actually does come up with a card in the side deck, which is actually kind of cool. And I've never pulled it off, but I really want to. And we also have Gorgon. This is the way you out-towered monsters. So it points 3 up towards your opponent, and you can't activate the effect of stuff that is in its zones. So if you summon this into the, against a Liger Dancer, they can't activate the effect, even though it's unaffected. You're not affecting the card, you're affecting the player. And also, it has 100 attack, but it has a similar effect to Avramax, to where if you smash into something or something smashes into it, it gains the attack of that monster. Well, this is a little bit different than Avramax because it gains the attack of whatever it's pointing to. So if it's pointed to 2 monsters with 3,000 attack, it gains 6,000. So it'll be at 61. So that's a really cool way to out stuff. It just came out recently, which is why I'm not sure. I think people maybe don't know what it does. So the Synchros, distill the 3. Again, we cut the hamster because there's no need for Obedience School in this deck. So we don't need hamster because we're never locking ourselves. Metal Marcher and Herald, and that is the extra deck. For the side deck, nothing really changed that much. We still have the 3 Retaliating Thie, the 3 Thrust, and the 2 Lightning Storm. I debated cutting Thrust because now that we don't have Obedience School, there's not much in-engine use for Thrust going second. We can set Solve Code Happiness, which is really good. So Happiness is sort of the replacement for Obedience School. So now going second, we have 6 copies of Happiness, which is really good. But there's no one of power spells, like Talents or anything like that. I might switch one of these for a Raigeki, just in case we need to destroy monsters, because oftentimes I've found that the monsters on certain boards, like Mitsurugi and whatnot, are just a little more problematic than the spells and traps. So I might swap one of these for a Raigeki in the future, but for now it's 2 Lightning Storm. And then, of course, if I go first up, we still have the 1 Judgment, the 1 Anti-Spell, and the Rabbit package with the Apophis, the Serpent, and the Swamp Deity. And then we did cut 2 cards. We cut the Feather Duster and the DDG for a sort of funny little combo. What we have is the Soul of the Supreme King, which summons Supreme King Zark from the extra deck. And on summon, it has a mandatory effect that activates that'll try to destroy all the cards on your opponent's board. But if you summon it normally, it'll just get negated by the trap card. But if you summon it to one of the link zones of the Coolia that I talked about in the extra deck, it can't be negated. So by the time it resolves, it realizes that it's not going to get negated, so it blows up your opponent's entire board anyway, despite the negation of the trap card. Because it can only be negated once it hits the field, and it has to activate. So, because it can't be negated, it will destroy your opponent's cards. And that, I've tested that effect, applying that effect to different board states in the current meta, and it is very effective against most decks, unlike DDG, which is only really effective against Dracotail. So I like this more as a thrust target for going first. So that's the deck, guys. I'll see you guys in round 1 to see how the deck performs. So everyone knows what the Yummy cards do, right? But no one really knows what the Soul Code cards do unless you actually play Soul Code Yummy. So this is how to bridge the 2 engines. You're going to start off with Happiness, because you can discard a card to add 2 Soul Code monsters from the deck to your hand, and then special summon the same amount of monsters your opponent controls plus 1. So because their board is empty, you're going to summon 1 from your hand. So you're going to discard your card and search Primoa and Kutea, special to Primoa, then go use Primoa effect to search for another Happiness, and Happiness is like Yummy Surprise. The card is not once per turn, but each effect is once per turn. So you can use the other 2 effects, which are either special both of your scales, or you can get an extra pendulum summon for Soul Code monsters. So that can be kind of useful going second if you need to extend. Next, you're going to normal your Kutea and use the effect to add your Solfagia. Then you're going to link to your Beyond the Pendulum. You're Beyond the Pendulum, you're going to add a pendulum. So you're just going to add another Primoa. You don't need to add any bricks into the deck. You're going to scale your 0 and your 9, and you're just going to pendulum summon these two back. And on pendulum, to remove the effect, you're going to target Solfagia to put it back in your hand. And then you're simply going to link 3 into Eukulia, which is your Omnigate. So at this point, if they didn't appear to you by now, they just can't, because you can just special your scale, and then the Nibiru becomes negated. Now, because you only control Silver Core monsters, you can special your Solfagia, and use the Solfagia effect to tribute itself to special back to Dracotail. And now, with 2 level 1s on board, so you just link 1 into Link Aribo, and now you Synchro, because you have a level 1, into your Cupsy, and your Cupsy is going to add your Cupsy and your Marshmallow and discard your extra happiness. Or if you have another dead card in hand, like another Moltron, you can also discard that. Alright guys, round 1 with the new deck.
You ready?
Yeah, new deck. I don't have dice.
I got one.
Okay. I really hope I don't break all 4 rocks today. Because that's what happened to the original. I went 2-4.
What deck you play?
Yummy, pure.
Oh.
But this is not pure. It's funny.
I didn't break it.
Oh Jesus Christ. Okay. That's very much lower.
Yeah, I'm going first.
Okay.
First I shuffle.
Yeah. This is my first time actually playing these cards. I got these in the mail literally yesterday.
Yes.
And I got a Dracotail for the original. I just need 1 Rahu and 2 Ketchu, and I have an entire deck.
Something.
But they don't have them. They don't have any Justice on the bulk at all.
I think I got happy with that.
Yeah. Okay, let's do ourselves a game here.
My turn?
Yep.
Stand by.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
Normal summon Lucius.
Oh no.
Lucius effect.
Yeah.
Add a Dracotail monster from my deck to my hand.
Yep.
I move to my deck to my hand.
Okay, and I'll go and lock bird here because I don't think it does anything else to.
I'll let this off and spray my eyes of blue.
Okay.
Then I'll activate 5 mana.
I think summoning the Link 1 was definitely a misplay on my opponent's part, because if you already had 5 mana in hand, you probably should have just used the Lucius as a free fusion material that was already on the field. It would still activate Engrave after being used as material, so there's no reason not to do that. But I guess it makes summoning Heretic Seal a little bit easier later in the turn.
Lulu to set.
Also, I'm probably going to try to make a brief meta overview for the certain decks that we're probably going to see the most throughout the videos. I'm going to start doing that after the ban list comes out later this month, just to hopefully help you guys be like up to date with the meta. And I know it's like really overwhelming to try to learn decks all on your own, so I want to put the information out there so that you guys are able to pick up these decks and play them yourself. So you see here, my opponent Link summons into Heretic Seal, and Heretic Seal has a sort of double purpose in Dracotail. It obviously bounces a monster to the hand, but it also summons a dragon from your deck with its attack and defense points set to 0. Mostly, it's used for summoning either bestials to be destroyed, and then they get some effects like Druid Worm, or maybe even a Magnema to add one to your hand during the end phase. But mostly it's used to summon Dracotail Malubu, which allows you to fusion summon during my turn. So that's a purpose for it. And the fusion monster he just summoned with a lot of glare is the Dracotail Guamel, which basically allows him to start destroying my cards the more Dracotail cards he activates. And of course, the game plan of Dracotail is to get the 3 different trap cards set up so we can use them on my turn. And because they are Dracotail trap cards, he can then use the Guamel to start destroying my cards. But I can only do it once. So unless I have responses to every single Dracotail trap card, which I do have a few responses to, then he won't be able to use it. But he also has the Femina in hand still, as well as the Malulu that he's gonna summon off the Erratic Seal. So that's what I'm looking at here. So the 3 traps are Dracotail Flame, which can negate one of my spell cards, Dracotail Sting, which can banish a spell card and a monster in my graveyard, and Dracotail Horn, which is going to return a monster on my field in attack mode to my hand. So that's 3 different points of interruption, plus the Guamel and the Erratic Seal that I have to try to get through here.
I set a card face down. Third pass.
This is over here and this is
Yes.
over here. Okay. Draw off the hand. That's a pretty good card. One card in hand. Okay. Okay, so the normal summon Promoa and use Promoa's effect to add a soul card.
Mm-hmm.
Add happiness.
Okay.
You know what this does?
Huh?
I'm gonna activate happiness.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna be surprised that it's 3 effects, but the card is not 1 per effect. So I'm gonna activate the effect to discard a card and then add 2, and then special up to the number of monsters you control plus 1.
Alright.
So we're gonna add Thie and Solfagia. And I'm going to choose special summon only one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use Dracotail's effect to search for a total code monster.
Hmm?
At Pro. Going to think into Karibo. Anything here. Anything here?
No.
Okay. Put the effect, target both of these to flip them.
I'll activate Erratic Seal and Heavenly Spears, attributing itself to the deck.
I will call by target the seal.
Alrighty here, so Call by the Grave is a very powerful card for those of you who don't know. It basically targets a card in his graveyard and banishes it and negates the effects of the monster. And he tries to negate it with Flame here, but I use Dominus Purge, which stops cards that add stuff from my opponent's deck to their hand. And because Dracotail Flame actually has an effect to draw a card, I'm actually allowed to stop it with that card, or something like Ash Blossom, or even Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, because it does require him to put stuff back into his deck.
I will special Topsy and activate the effect. Search. I will link 2
Mm-hmm.
for IP.
Mm-hmm.
I'll place Promo on my scale.
Mm-hmm.
Place Solfagia on my scale.
Yeah.
A Pendulum Summon.
So I'm about to do a Pendulum Summon, and Pendulum Summoning is what made most players leave Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day when it first came out. It's really simple. You see the two cards in my spell and trap zone? They're my pendulum scales, and they have numbers between 0 and 9. And I just summoned two level 1 monsters. So as long as the levels of the monsters you summon are between 0 and 9, you are fine. You can summon levels 1 through 8, and your scale basically just has to be one number lower than whatever and higher than whatever you summon. So it's really not that complicated unless you're playing like a dedicated pendulum deck. Even the pendulum mechanic is still technically relevant to this day because I'm still technically playing a meta deck.
Thank you. Yeah, sure, that's fine. And you can put one back in both. Link. Coolio. Over here. And I will activate Marksman to special summon.
Okay.
Here, Link. So Snapshy, go back to place your spell. Info. Top C, back to search 2. I will then special. I will minion effect target. Actually, I can't. I'm gonna link. Snapshy. Minion effect target quickly. And then
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
attempt to go battle. 27. Under 23. And then activate surprise with battle summon. Coolio effect is special with scale to negate it. Special marshmallow effect to add back. And then I will go. Well, I haven't attacked with any of these yet. So
You can attack directly
with marshmallow.
Because you summoned it off a surprise.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so in that case, I will activate surprise, target the two of these, or the two of your cards, to bounce them. And then I'll chain snap to the syndrome. Can't activate Lollipop because I can't exactly special it back, but
Since two monsters went to the graveyard, I can special summon itself.
yeah, thinking if I can activate this. Yeah, I have to summon exactly two. So thinking on this effect. I'll chain Lollipop to summon two.
I drew that.
And you're gonna summon. 3,000, so attack for 26. Directly for 26. Directly for 3,000, that's 56. And then 28?
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Again.
Alright, that was my victory for game one. Now we get to go into our side deck. If you don't know, the side deck is a group of 15 cards that you can swap in and out of your deck, one for one, with cards in your main deck, between games one and two, and then two and three. So because I just won game one and we're going to game two, now we can use our side deck. And if there was a game three, we could use our side decks after game two. The main purpose of a side deck is to allow the use of very situational cards that really aren't worth putting in your main deck, because you might not see certain decks very often, but they still might be difficult to deal with when you do. So the side deck is reserved for situational cards that don't come up every game, but will come up more games than not.
Oh,
Alright, stand by.
yeah.
Main. Normal summon Cartesia.
Normal summon Cartesia. Yeah.
Cartesia effect diffusion summon.
That looks like I'm gonna do.
Okay. Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
And drop turn. Stand by me. Normal summon from Moa, effect to add a full court card.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Add happiness. Anything here?
Nope.
Activate happiness. Activate the effect to discard one energy. Discard. Ophagia. Baron. And I can special a full court from my hand. Up to the number of monsters you can full court I can summon two if I want to. I'm going to choose to only summon one. I'm going to activate Dracotail to add a monster.
Yeah.
Never mind, no targets. That is okay. Link 2. Beyond the pendulum, no effect. Scale Pomona. Scale Ophagia. Pendulum. Two of these. On summon, from all effects, targets Ophagia to bounce back in my hand.
Yeah.
Link. Coolio. Ophagia effect is special time. Ophagia effect tribute for Hawk to summon Kinetic Product.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna scoop.
Okay. Begin now.
So here, what happened is my opponent wound up conceding the game because they realized that since I stopped their only one playable action, that they couldn't win with the rest of the cards in their hand. The Molch armies were dead because you have to control no cards to use them, and there wasn't really a purpose to using the Cartesia on my turn, which he was able to do because I was just too far ahead anyway. So this does happen sometimes, and that was a 2-0 victory for me. I decided to only put the one match in the video for it to not be too insanely long. I did wind up topping with a score of 3-1. I just wasn't able to record my other matches. I think my phone died for the last round, and one of them I was on the other future match. And the other one was just like a super fast loss, so I just didn't include that. I do intend to keep making locals videos like this in the future, and I also do want to do some like meta deck introductions, just so it's a little bit easier to follow along with the videos without having to sit through the entire thing just to understand what happened. Anyway, as far as the channel is going, I'm good. It's good to be back. I'm gonna start doing some Pokemon locals videos, maybe a little bit more recently. I've sort of gotten back into Pokemon, and I'm going to start doing locals videos for Pokemon tournaments a little bit more often. And also, sorry about the bad mic quality. My regular microphone is getting fixed right now, and hopefully in my next video I will have it back. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe for more locals videos like this in the future. And also, maybe we'll go over some of the decks more in detail, so it's a little easier to follow along with the videos. But I do hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time.